You are listening to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about Propagandhi. Today's episode is a bit different. With the start of the NHL season coming up, I thought we could talk about Propagandhi's use of hockey references in their music. Today's guest and hockey rock expert is Dave Zamboni from the world-famous all-hockey rock band, the Zombonis. In this conversation, we touch on the songs Resisting Tyrannical Government and Dear Coach's Corner. We talk about the history of the Zambonis, hockey references in music, our love of organ music at sporting events, and of course, hockey. I've known Dave since the 90s and always loved hearing him tell stories. I hope you enjoy listening to this as much as I enjoyed having this conversation. Okay, enough of me. Here's my conversation with Dave Zamboni. How's it going, Dave?
Very good, Steve. It's great to see you. I wish I was in Canada with you, but things happen.
They happen. So for those listening who may not be familiar with the Zambonis, I'll give a brief kind of background on the Zambonis. So they've been a band since 1991, writing all songs about hockey. In 1999, Maxim Magazine awarded them as the best band you've never heard, ahead of At the Drive-In. They played the NHL All-Star Game in 2002 and 2011. Their song Hockey Monkey was the theme song for the Fox television program The Loop, and they've been featured on ESPN, NHL Network, NHL on NBC, NHL video games, and in the New York Times. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I mean, but that, it's the Go-Betweens, one of my favorite bands, we also beat them in that Maxim magazine thing. But as you know, that did not change things for us. And At the Drive-In and the Go-Betweens are two of the greatest bands ever. So, sure, LA Times, a lot of fanzines, but you get the idea. We've been around. If you're around for 32 years, things happen. Your bio gets a little better.
I mean, you got to scroll down like 5 or 6 times to get the whole bio on the website. It's so big.
It is big. It's I'm a Jewish kid, so that's the only big thing in my life. Sorry, is that all right?
Oh, that's absolutely all right. I mean, you guys have been doing this for a very long time. I mean, I kind of, my first experience with you guys was, I believe, I want to say 1997. I came down to Burlington, Vermont with some buddies to see you guys play at Higher Ground. We brought all of our road hockey stuff, and we set up some road hockey in the parking lot of the venue after the game, and like the cops chased us out of town. It was this big ordeal.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome.
So, and since then, I've had you guys come up and play in Canada. You guys have been killing it down in the US. So, and when I decided that I wanted to kind of, with the hockey season kind of coming up, and to have this little hockey season preview to try and, because Propagandhi are a band that love hockey, and they've used hockey metaphors in their songs to try and talk about more serious subjects. I thought, who better of a person to have on to talk hockey and music than you, the person who pretty much champions hockey rock.
I do champion it, but what I love, we're not there yet talking about Propagandhi, but I love the way they do that, and that's the thought of having a hockey band is just immediately idiotic, and the goal is to try to be somewhat intelligent with your hockey music, and not to do what you would expect, which one would be to suck, and two, to just do obvious songs. And there are those obvious songs, Drop That Puck or Lost My Teeth or whatever. But I really like the left turns and the artful way that they bring hockey into their music. And I try to do it in ours too sometimes, most of the time.
Well, I mean, your guys' stuff, it does stand the test of time. We'll touch on your guys' stuff in a bit. First, we're gonna dive into 2 Propagandhi songs. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Resisting Tyrannical Government. So kind of just your overall thoughts on the song, if I can just get those kind of right out of the gate.
Well, I love the song. I love the music. And I also love that they took what would be a cliche, which was Jesus saves, but Gretzky scores. So, I've tried to mess around with doing stuff with Jesus saves, but that's they've done a good job right there. But it's a great song. It kicks ass.
The my favorite part of the song is a reference to "I don't want to be the Steve Smith of the Revolution," which is a reference to the 1986, at the time, Campbell Conference Finals in the Game 7, where Steve Smith happened to pot one in on his own net towards the end of the third period, which cost the Oilers from advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's such it's a sad story. And where is Steve Smith today?
I honestly, for a while, he was working for the Buffalo Sabres organization.
Oh, I mean, then I will say I'm a huge Steve Smith fan. Since we are playing we're playing in Buffalo next week, actually, October 5th. So
So huge Steve Smith fan. I mean, Steve Smith,
huge.
he did well for himself after he popped that one in, 3-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a little bit about my Steve Smith. When I looked through the lyrics of that song, um, and I stand by this. My whole life, I've done this. I've gotten in arguments with um, really popular rock critics and rock writers. Not arguments, but I've had debates. There's a band called The Vapors, which I'm sure you know, Turning Japanese.
Yeah.
But besides Turning Japanese, every song of theirs, every single song is an amazing song. And they put out 3 records, 2 records back in the day, and then they put out a brand new record about 4 years ago. And Steve Smith was the bassist, and he's one of my favorite bassists ever. Such a great bassist. Played the Rickenbacker bass way back, Rickenbacker, whatever, however you want to say it over there in Canada. But um, so there's Steve Smith. I have 2 favorite Steve Smiths now. But yeah, that story about him scoring on his own net that's a tough one.
It's and like to relate it back to the song being that, if people are gonna about like riding your bikes to the G7 meeting and blowing up all the leaders, and is really that is what you think may be the solution to your problems, like immediately is maybe not the long-term outcome that you're looking for. You get instant gratification, but is it really the long-term solution that you're looking for? Because as we know in politics, if you have a problem with one leader, that leader can easily be replaced with with a possibly worse version of themselves, essentially.
Right. Well, let's remind you that in the song, it's not a meeting; it's a picnic.
Yes, it's a G7 picnic, because nothing ever happens at the G7 meetings. It's just at them getting together to stroke each other's egos, and nothing ever happens. So that's kind of, based off of that, you can kind of see how the trajectory of that would go.
Well, sadly, I mean that it's the G7. It's really 90%, 95% of all politics. Nothing happens. So it's in this country, it's just at a dead standstill. So it doesn't. Yeah, we need more propaganda out there. That's true.
And in terms of like going in, like just into going back to like the musicality of the song, like, so Chris Hanna, the primary songwriter and singer and guitar player, he's an unbelievable guitar player. And this song here, I really like the kind of the little leads he throws into the song
Mm-hmm.
throughout it. But as being a guitar player yourself, kind of what's your just general thoughts on the guitar work in the song?
I mean, it's a great tune. The drum, everything. It's if you're gonna, it works perfectly for that sort of tune. For just with the message of the song, that the music matches the message perfectly. It gets you going. It's great. I wish I could. I'd love to write more story songs like these guys do, And two, I wish I could write harder songs. But as I get older, I keep on getting into the groove, getting a
There's
little too
nothing
groovy.
there's nothing wrong with finding the groove and just sticking to it.
Oh no, I don't mind the groove, but I would love to. I'd love to write a song like that with that speed and that intensity. I think we need it.
I'm here for it if it ever happens one day.
Well, like I mentioned, there was a big article on Chris Nealon, and I'm like, oh, this is a great article. What a story! And the guy married into the Whitey Bulger mob family, and then you start to like learn more about this guy, and because that would have been a good song for that sort of vibe, but nah,
It's
not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's getting more difficult as the years go on to find a like if you're looking back at like kind of, hockey's history and famous hockey people, it's getting harder and harder to find people who maybe don't have a dark cloud over them, or, things from their past kind of coming through because of certain things involved with hockey culture. So it's kind of difficult to really as
Nobody's
yeah, it's just getting tough. There's a lot of garbage things that have happened out there, and
nobody's perfect, but I'd prefer like a solid human being if I'm going to write a song about them.
I had sent you that the article about from my Montreal Canadiens, the Arbor Jackeye story, and I feel like that's just a song waiting to happen.
Yeah, I read it. I agree. I agree. That I can get behind. Yes. And the fact that he worked at Costco helps me a lot. I enjoy their potato salad. I enjoy their salmon. So yeah, I think we're on to something here.
So we'll jump into the next song, the Dear Coach's Corner. So this one here, this entire song is essentially a love story about hockey, basically. So kind of coming at hockey from an American perspective, what was your kind of access and familiarity with like Don Cherry and Coach's Corner?
Very little. Um, Back in the 90s, we had no access to him where I'm from in Connecticut. And then I got more into it, and I enjoyed him a lot. Actually, I enjoyed the crazy suits and the whole thing. But we really didn't learn about uh, too much about him personally. But I did get the vibe that as the years went on, he was souring, in my opinion. I guess that's a good word, pickled or souring. His opinions, and I in this song, I completely agree with it that he's just again not my cup of tea, but also I'm not a fan.
The public opinion of him over the years kind of changed, and then it kind of got to the point where people were watching Coach's Corner just to see what crazy stuff he would say, and then
Right.
eventually it all caught up to him. Uh, but
And
yeah,
I
so
am not one to cancel anybody. I'm not into canceling people, and I hope he's doing well. But it's just there's a certain mentality you just hope people can hold up to, and I didn't think he was holding up to that mentality.
no, for sure. So and maybe this is a question you can kind of touch on it to whatever level you're comfortable with, but coming from being in the US and coming at sports from an American perspective, and how the song references the military kind of coming down on appreciation night, dropping in from the rafters. How do you kind of view the integration of like military culture into sports and like in hockey in general? Because every team in the league has like military appreciation night, and I know up here in Canada it's kind of a little bit of a contentious thing where people, some people like it versus some people just want them to play hockey. And
Yeah.
I just kind of wondering based off, because I know, like, you watch a football game every week, there's military flyovers, you watch NASCAR, like it's military everywhere. So the NHL is definitely on the lighter side with regards to it, but I was just kind of wondering, based off of what the song is talking about, what do you think of that?
I think the level of fake patriotism is involved in it. They're putting on a show, and no one's going to criticize that. And I'm completely thank you for your service to all my military guys out there. But when it comes to a team presenting this, I think it's more, it just to look good, to look great, and it's great marketing for them. You can't go wrong. Um, I prefer Star Wars Night. I'm a big fan of the Star Wars Night. I'm a big fan of all other clever promotions, but it seems to always fall back on that, and the teams just cherish that moment. And I mean, I've known a couple guys that work for these teams, and I think it's a little forced.
Oh, I agree. It's one of those things where, I look up, like I go to the game and I find out it's like, oh, it's military night at the game. Because I actually went to a game in January of this past year. I went to the Leafs Red Wings game here in Toronto, and it just happened to be military night, I believe. And I was like, oh boy, how did this happen? I go to one game of the year and it's military night.
If you're the marketing man for said hockey team, I mean, they do it in every league. Then I get it. It's an easy win. It's an easy win for most of the people there. Like it's showing that the all of a sudden the team cares. The team cares. Team cares. Well, you know, I, it's enough with that. You don't have to. It feels fake and it feels false. And I get it. Certain nights can be it, but they do it a lot, and it's overplayed. It's overplayed.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. So, and then the song references, so it's basically his letter to Ron McLean, how he's trying to, like, reason with Ron McLean over the craziness of Don Cherry, and how, Don Cherry was kept on the air for years and years and years, and how, Ron McLean is supposed to be the voice of reason and Don Cherry is the voice of crazy, and how, like, it's a very much a, like a angel devil situation.
Right.
So what's your experience in terms of, like, of the Ron McLean angle? Like, do you have any?
Whenever I watch the show, I wished Ron would kind of put Don more in his place. I wish it happened more often. It seemed like Don was pretty overbearing. Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah. So it was sort of sad and frustrating that Ron didn't do that. That's just what I saw. Again, we were busy here with our American broadcasters. We didn't really. Here in Connecticut, I would get the Rangers local, John Davidson, Sam Simon. So we didn't have the traditional Canadian broadcast. And then I ended up working at Versus, and then with NBC for a bit, and so I just never saw those guys that much. But whenever I did watch it, I felt bad. I felt bad for Ron McLean.
And he's still on Hockey Night in Canada to this day.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I know.
He's had quite the run.
Is and is that is my opinion the way? I guess it's a torn. You've got to have your Don Cherry fans, right?
Oh, there's a lot of Don Cherry fans up here, and people still kind of, every once in a while, Don Cherry will trend on Twitter up here, where people are wanting to have him back on the air, but, like, you just can't have him on the air. It's just not. You can't put that on the air.
So what's he do now?
He had a podcast for a while. I don't know. I've never listened to it. But yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He kind of fell off the radar with people who don't, have the same viewpoint as him.
Right.
He fell off all of our radars.
Is he a Propagandhi fan?
I'm going to guess he's probably not, just as much as they are not a fan of his.
Yeah, I would guess the same.
So going into this, the musicalness, the musical performance on this song. So this song here, in comparison to resisting tyrannical government, this song is a far more aggressive song.
Right.
So is there anything that kind of jumps out at you musically from this song?
I love the drums. I've been trying to get better at playing the drums, and I really love the drums on this track.
Jord, the drummer for Propagandhi, is a very unique drummer in that he does not recycle any of his fills. My co-host Greg just had Ryan Green on an episode recently, who recorded was the engineer on 2 Propagandhi records, and he spoke about Jord's drumming and how it's just very a unique style that's kind of unique to him in the way he plays to get the specific sound out of the drums, and his non-recycling of any fills just being kind of different how he approaches playing drums to maybe how someone traditionally plays drums.
So you're saying on every song there's never been a fill that was repeated?
That's what the people are saying.
I'm gonna have to do some serious research tonight.
Changing gears here.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about the Zambonis. So what inspired a group of buds from Connecticut to start a band that writes only songs about hockey in 1991?
My buddies Peter and Tarkin Cadis were in another band called the Philistines Junior, and they were invited by the great legend John Peel to come over to England and do a BBC Peel session. And I met these guys earlier that year, and I just loved everything about these two guys, especially the music they made. And I just wanted to be in a band with them. They were not from the same planet I was on at the time. They just saw things differently, and their music was odd, and they produced all their own music, and they had a studio in their basement. So I went to England with them to do this Peel session. We go into BBC Studios and record this session. And that night we wanted to watch hockey. I think the Devils were playing the Rangers. It was playoff season. And we were like, oh, let's go find a game. And in England, trying to find a hockey game in 1991 is not easy at all, or 92 actually. And we looked and looked, and we found one place that said they had it, but they were closed. So, I said, let's just write some songs about hockey. And one of them, Tarkin, said, yeah. And Peter was like, no, that's stupid. But we did. We wrote one called Davey Hattrick, because there's a band, this guy Billy Childish had a band, sort of an offshoot called the Headcoatees, and they did a song called Davy Crockett, and we ripped it off, and then we wrote another one called Take Off That Mask, and it was cool. And then we wrote another 2, and then we came home, and this record label put out a 45 for us, and it was immediately on the college charts. It was crazy, and we were the name was easy, the Zambonis, because everybody loves the Zamboni, unless you're working for the Olympia brand resurfacer machine. But so that started it, and we made the college charts. And we're like, oh shoot, we got to make a record. And we made a record, and then we made another one, and we tried to break up a couple times, but we kept on getting gigs. So now it's 32 years later, and we're still here.
I mean, that's unbelievable. So going back to early on, so When you guys got back from England and you were putting it out, other than, making the college charts, what was the general consensus around when you guys were like, hey, we have a band that only sings about hockey and we're not from Canada?
Yeah, it was strange. At the time, we didn't know the guy. We didn't know about. We started before I think they started the Hanson brothers.
Yeah.
So we didn't know about that. We didn't, and that's the influence of Peter and Tarkin. We didn't even think about it. You're so young and dumb. You just do it. You're not thinking like, oh, like this doesn't make sense. We're not from Canada. Those guys are actually, they have a dual citizenship because their mother came from Latvia and then moved to Canada. So they actually have dual citizenship in Canada and here. So that worked out well, but no one knows that until this interview. But
I've known you guys for like 30 years, and this is the first time I've heard that.
yeah, this is the first time I thought about it. Yeah, those guys, they have a place in Nova Scotia. They don't go there very often because their mom's 94. But yes, they have dual citizenships, which is so we should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame now. Um, but yeah, it didn't make sense, and it still doesn't really make sense. Um, but it's just something we do, and people. I mean, we've gotten many calls. Even a job I got working for the Islanders, they called me. They're like, "Hey, what would it cost to bring you down from Canada? We want you to play a gig here." I'm like, "Well, not too much because we're in Connecticut, you know." So it's people just assume we're from Canada.
It's kind of it's a wild thing, but I'm here for it. So the name the Zambonis, how were you guys allowed to use that name, given that the term the Zamboni is from Mr. Frank Zamboni?
Well, I don't know if you heard the story, but um, initially we were just doing whatever we wanted. We had no idea about patents and copyrights. Our first 45, we ripped off the Rangers logo on the back, and we said something bad about Mr. Bettman on a helmet, and we were so stupid. It was great. It was really very freeing and very idiotic. But
you
with
kind
the
of you kind of started with that whole like kind of punk rock ethos, because I know Tarquin has played in punk rock bands and stuff like that. So you guys really had that whole DIY thing when you started.
completely everything we did, we made our own. The artwork, we still all the artwork we do for ourselves, and printing and whatever it was. T-shirts, we screened them ourselves. But with the Zamboni, I'm like, when you start a band, the hardest part isn't writing the songs or deciding where to get to put the record out, blah blah blah. The hardest part is naming the band, and this band was named, I think, within seconds of the idea of writing songs about hockey. So we're doing our thing, 94, 95, 96. And then something happened where we got into Rolling Stone or something. Something happened. And immediately we were received a cease and desist from the Zamboni company. And at the time, Peter and Tarkin, who are really good hockey players, were playing in New York on a pretty elite team called the Hit Factory, which was all music industry people. And our lawyer was the goalie on that team, and he had leather pants and the one circle lens and one oval lens, and he said, "Don't worry, I got this. I'll squash these guys." So we're like, "Oh, great. Okay, I'm not going to mention his name." So we're like, "Oh yeah, we got super lawyer. He's going to crush the Zamboni company lawyers." Well, a year and a half later, he gets back to us. He's like, "Listen, I got nothing. You guys are using it in the realm of hockey, and the key word is realm." So Peter and I decide to write a postcard to the Zamboni company, and we do. And the postcard, it says, "Please don't make us change our names to the motorized ice resurfacing machines." And within 2 days, they called, and we worked out a licensing deal and a handshake kind of deal. And then we did sign a contract. And everything has been pretty good since. Pretty good.
I mean, that's an unbelievable story.
Yeah. Yeah. We're still challenged. They don't like they had some problems with some things we did. Peter threw a freaking we had a pinata at a show in Philly, and Peter ripped it open, and all of a sudden some kid's tooth got chipped, and somehow the kid's father contacted the Zamboni company instead of us. So he thought we were part of the Zamboni company. So that wasn't great.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, it was a nightmare. Yeah.
Oh man. So
Bad enough we're just a hockey band. The chances of succeeding as an all hockey band is hard enough, but once you have to purchase liability insurance for each show because your friend ripped open a pinata, it's not great white problems, but it's not fun.
no, that sucks. I was
Yeah.
doing a bit of research into the Zamboni company in general, and what I found was I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Zamboni and the history of the Zamboni, but guess where they delivered their 10,000th Zamboni?
Where?
Their 10,000th Zamboni is property of the Montreal Canadiens and the Bell Center.
Oh, okay. That's a good answer. I thought it'd be some obscure. I didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe in like my hometown or something.
No,
Well, that's amazing.
it's a milestone Zamboni at the home of NHL hockey.
It's the right place to deliver your 10,000th. I agree. I'm sure it was electric too.
This
You
was
know.
this was back in 2012, so I'm not sure if it was electric back then, nor am I sure if it's even in use
Oh,
anymore. But
oh. Well,
back
then
in
cancel my comment.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not even sure if they even still use Zamboni ice surfacing machines at the Bell Center. It's been a few years since I've been to a game at the Bell Center, but
Oh, we need to look into that because that would not be good. The other brand, I say.
I wonder if arenas, if do they pit the Zamboni company against the Olympia company? Is that like a big thing? Is there a rivalry there?
Only in my brain, but I mean, I know which one I'm a fan of.
I know which one you're contractually obligated to be a fan of.
No, but I'm still a fan. I mean, anybody using the Z, and it is the machine. It is the ice resurfacing machine. It's the original. So
I mean,
there's a reason I'm a fan.
every time a kid goes to a hockey game, they're just mesmerized by the Zamboni. It's half of the attraction for little kids when they go to a hockey game.
It's not just little kids. My stepfather, may he rest in peace, he would go to games just to see the Zamboni. It was pretty impressive.
That's amazing.
He loved it. He started telling me things about it. I'm like, yeah, I know what it does. He loved it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, have you ever driven a Zamboni?
Once. Yeah.
How was that?
I don't want, it was nerve wracking. Um,
Did you actually get to clean the whole sheet?
no, I started to do I started to, I started to do some stuff, but then I stopped. I didn't want to mess up anything. So I should go back and do it again. I have many invites to do so,
I
but
think you should just get out there and start cleaning sheets.
I think I could do it. I can multitask. I'm good at video games. It's got to be just like a video game, right?
Because coming from playing hockey and playing in beer leagues and hockey growing all through up junior hockey and stuff, the one thing that every hockey player complains about is, man, those Zamboni drivers really screwed up the ice. Look at that puddle in front of the net.
Right, right. Well, let's
So,
see them do it themselves. Then do it yourself. Hop up there and let's see what you can do.
my whole life, I think I've been training to be a Zamboni driver, but obviously when I get a step up to the big moment like that, I know I'm going to screw it up.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to my friend Renee, who's now working for the Carolina Hurricanes. She's driving the Zamboni.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I probably should go down there. They reached out to us a couple times, and now that I know the Zamboni driver, geez, come on, we should get down there.
Tell me about your NHL on NBC, 3 songs in 24 hours that aired on TV 24 hours after writing and recording them.
Oh, those are well, that again, that's see, um, for a little while we had people at NBC that knew the Zambonis and would just call us like, "Hey, we need a song for this, like now." And I was like, "Okay." And again, this guy Tim Walsh was in the Zambonis for 10 years, and it's one of my best friends. He's in my other band, the Levies, and he fills in for the Zambonis once in a while. I said, "Tim, let's go." And that's fun because you get paid to do that too, which is kind of silly. You get stupid money. It's great. So 24 hours, I'll write it in 7 hours. But yeah, so they just gave us like, we need this, we need this, we need this. And it's cool. One of the songs, oh no, that was a football song. Sorry. I only wrote one football commercial, but Don Ho ended up in the commercial. But yeah. Um, I love that stuff. I love writing quick and turning it around. And
Guys,
if you give me a subject, that's even easier. You know, writing a song for myself about with the Zambonis, you have to think about, you know, what's the song going to be about? What am I going to do here? What's this? But they're saying, hey, we need a song about this guy, this team, and it needs to mention this and this. So it's much easier. You know, it's like a scripted process for the beginning. They give you some bullet points.
one of my favorite kind of quick hit slash jingle of yours is your kind of punk rock tune you guys wrote about about deodorant.
Yes, Tarkin. That's all Tarkin. Tarkin only wrote 2 songs in this band in the last 32 years. He has helped a lot in every way, but Tarkin sitting and writing a song. One was called Shot Score, and the second was Old Spice needed needed a song, and he ran upstairs, and all of a sudden he comes down. I got it. Leave your stink at the rink, and it's an awesome song.
It's a great song.
We played it twice live in 32 years, and the second time was about 3 years ago at a show. We just sort of figured it out backstage. I'm like, let's do it. He's like, okay. But yeah, we got paid. We got paid 2 right guard. What did I say? Did I say Old Spice? It was right guard. We got paid with 2 right guard jerseys and $500. So we sold out early.
It's an awesome song. I've always liked that song. I'm a big fan of what Tark brings to the band. I feel like I really connect with him because I feel like we have a similar kind of background in the music we like and the bands we've played in and stuff like that. So I really enjoy his dynamic.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, I've known you for quite a while, and you know, in the old days, in the very beginning of this band, Peter and I would sit and we'd write like Referee's Daughter together, writing these fun little rhymes, and that's a Zamboni song for those that don't know. And while we're doing that, Tarkin he's had a Fugazi show, you know, and that happened quite a bit. He would always like, hey, we're gonna write today. He's like, well, I'm going to see Fugazi. So that was those were he was there, and we were writing these jangly love songs. But when he came back, you know, he'd add something interesting to the song too.
And I mean, that makes sense because people don't just like Fugazi a little bit. There's no middle ground. It's you either just don't like them or you're obsessed with Fugazi.
Yeah, what's interesting is Tarkin is the most moral person I know in my life to this day. We do things a lot every week. We speak 3 or 4 times a week, but we do things. Last week we went and saw the Lemonheads together, and he gets that. That is a Fugazi character trait. You know, there's just nothing more moral and correct and kind than Fugazi. Ian MacKaye is just, he's the shit, and Tarkin is the shit.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, Tarkin
So
actually, he also he spends most of his time now helping Afghani refugees get into this country. So, you
that's
know,
awesome.
yeah, I'm selling bootleg Hartford Whaler shirts, and Tarkin's doing that. So there's the difference.
I mean, we all have what we do.
I'm not selling. I used to sell bootleg Hartford Whaler shirts, but Tarkin would never sell a bootleg Hartford Whaler shirt.
So, kind of bringing this back to kind of where we all got into this in terms of hockey references in music. And there's lots of bands have mentioned hockey. There's, you mentioned the Hanson brothers. You have a hardcore band from Boston called Slapshot. You have, Stompin' Tom had his hockey song. We have another band up here in Canada called Jughead, who have another song called Hockey Song. We
People always ask us to play that song because they think we did that song. That's more in the style of some Zamboni's music, and I wish we wrote it. It's a classic, but it's not our song.
So it's oddly enough, the two hockey songs here in Canada, you have the Stompin' Tom one, which is, the a long time ago, that one.
Yeah,
And then
so
there's
I know.
and then there's the other hockey song, which is the one that goes, I played table hockey, some hockey,
Jug
that.
Jughead.
Yeah. So here, I'm about to drop some knowledge on you here.
Uh-oh.
So my partner Zoe, her dad wrote that song for Jughead.
No way.
Yes.
And he's not in the band?
He was in the band. He doesn't play in bands anymore, but that's his song.
But he was in the band, but now he's not in the band anymore.
Correct. Yes.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Things don't go well with you and her. No, I'm just kidding. Wow, that's incredible. That's a classic. He wrote a classic.
Yeah. So he was big. He was big in the early '80s, like punk rock and scene here in Toronto, and he played in many bands, and Jughead was just one of them. But yeah, that was his song. So going back to it is, being the I guess at the forefront of hockey and music, what's your overall take on, hockey making it into music? And is there any other, like, obviously Propaganda use it in their way, you guys use it in your way. Is there any other, what's your kind of overall thoughts on the use of hockey called talk in music?
Well, the sad part is, and I don't know about what's going on in your NHL arenas, but all the music that we make, some of it does get played. I go to a Rangers game and they do play Zamboni songs, which is amazing. But for the most part, I wish there was more, not just our music, but there's other hockey bands out there. And I just feel like it's kind of like it would be an honorable mention to just play some of these songs. I mean, those Puck Rock Volume 1, that CD?
Yep.
Actually, that's the CD with Jughead on it. That's how I heard that song. There's so many great songs on that record, and barely one of them is played at a hockey game. And there's so many great songs about hockey. I mean, good Lord, there's so many great songs about hockey, but none of them are really played at hockey games. They're going to play Bush, Three Doors Down, whatever they're still playing at these games. I just wish more hockey songs, not just ours, got played at these games.
I agree, and I know this is an audio podcast for everyone listening, but like, I feel like this record here that's behind me should have a little bit more love at hockey games. Have you ever seen that record before? For those listening, it's the Gila Fleur uh, instructional hockey record set to disco music.
I love that record. Yeah, I can't. So it's blurry to me. I can't really tell what's going on there. But now that you mentioned, that's what it is. Yeah, I love that record. That's an awesome record. And there you go. Like, you know, my buddy Josh, he's the organist for the Red Sox. And he brings in so many different songs. So that's a lot easier because he can do that. But if I requested a song off that record right there, that Guy Lafleur record, to Josh, he would play it at the Red Sox game. It's incredible what you hear coming out of the organ, coming from the organ at the Red Sox games. He'll play Jonathan Richman, Lou Reed. He'll play anything, Fugazi, whatever it is. If you look at his set list, and I just wish more teams were more open to some more artistic selections.
Do you know what percentage of NHL teams still use organists?
I don't, but I mean, they're still around, but I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know the Montreal Canadiens, their organist is Madame Diane Bivot, and she has her own custom Canadiens jersey with her name on the back and a treble clef instead of a number. And I've just thought that's the coolest thing. I wish they sold Diane Bivot jerseys at the store. I think it's awesome.
You know, I should talk to you more because there's a hockey song, she deserves a hockey song, and I would love to write that hockey song. I've dreamed, as the years go on, I didn't get richer. So the money isn't flowing like when I was a single kid making hockey songs and buying a bunch of video games and Tron games, actual stand-up Tron machines. But my dream, if I can just succeed at this, if I can make it come true, is to have Josh or maybe being American, the woman you just mentioned, and just doing like Josh Cantor plays the hits of the Zambonis on the Hammond organ, and just an all hockey organ. I started to record it years ago, and there's 3 tracks there somewhere out there. But I'd love to do an all organ record of the Zamboni songs. That's my dream. Once that happens, this band is done.
That would be. I mean, I don't want the band to be done, but I would love that record. I'm a huge fan of the organ at the hockey games. I think it's kind of brings that whole classic vibe to it. Growing up, going to games at the old Montreal Forum in the 80s, the organ was such a huge part of the game, and now it's used so sparingly at the games because they, favor hits of the moment in pop music. I'm like, I can hear that garbage on the radio all the time. Give me more Diane Bivot on the organ. That's what I want to hear.
Right. And, hockey is like going to church for some of us, and there's nothing better than a good organ playing at church,
It's definitely, I think it's a underappreciated art form.
Yeah.
And I wish more of it would happen.
Well, you give a nod to baseball, I guess. They seem to use it more now than hockey. I feel at the park you still get the organ at more baseball games.
I think it's because baseball in general tends to rely on more of like cultural history and stuff versus hockey. The NHL has been trying for so hard to become a mainstream sport in the US. They're doing everything to just appeal to the masses rather than lean into what makes them unique.
Yeah, there's rumors that they're going to change the puck for a football. Now, these are just rumors. These are rumors, but you never know. It might make the game more interesting.
The glow puck seemed to work out.
I love the glow puck. I'm still a fan. I guess that's the most USA thing I can say is I'm still waiting for the return of the glow puck.
I saw watching on during the playoffs last year. I can't remember which feed I was watching, but they had a glow puck and like the pass lines and the shot speed lines and everything like that last year. Honestly, I enjoy from a statistics perspective, I enjoy that part, but I don't need the glow puck. Like I can follow where the puck is.
I like that broadcast, but I had a seizure, so then I didn't enjoy it as much.
Oh, geez.
No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. All right.
So we're approaching we've been kind of at this for an hour. So I just want to kind of go through what is coming up in Zamboni's land. Do you have, so in terms of gigs, in terms of any new songs or records coming out, just Tell us what's happened and where people can find you.
Yeah, we have songs ready to release. I'm trying to make a video for a brand new one. We're working on the video right now called Unforced Penalties, which I think you'll enjoy. It's more of a Sonics flavored. I'm a big fan of the Sonics from the 60s. So Unforced Penalties video and song will be released next. And then after that, a brand new one called Skating with Myself, which I wrote during the pandemic, which I really, really like. And I don't think anyone else will, but it's a good one. It's more of a kind of a Django Reinhardt kind of thing going on there with but it's cool with a vocal though. No, just not just soloing. Um, and then a brand new one called "That's Why I Don't Like Hockey No More," which I'm really excited to put out. Um,
I can't
so
wait to hear that one.
that's got a twist. If you don't twist your hockey songs, you're just a pretty bad hockey band. That one is a fictional tale of going to the game and going to get a beer, and your girlfriend's kissing another dude, and that's why I don't like hockey no more. And it's a full 3-period story.
Oh,
But
awesome.
it's a good one. And then most importantly, near where you are, Zambonis are playing in Buffalo on October 5th for a big Sabres pregame. They open their season the next night, but we're playing at Pearl Street Grill and Brewing Grill. I'm horrible with names, but
You got it.
Pearl Street. And October 5th, we're playing for 2 hours. So you'll get all the hits and more.
Including Russian pop song.
Which one?
Russian pop song. My favorite Zamboni song, which never gets played ever.
It's crazy that we brought that up last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Listen, I'll play it. We're not playing that night, but I'll play it for you in back. And you don't have to do anything for that in the backstage area.
I remember
I think it's one of it's our top 3 best songs ever.
I remember sitting in a hotel room in North Bay, Ontario in 2007. It was myself, you, and Sean Fogel picking out a set list for the Zamboni show that night in North Bay. And we were all writing songs on pieces of paper and putting them in a hat because we were picking out songs out of a hat for the set list. And yes. I wrote in Russian pop song as the song I wanted. And when that got picked out, I believe the overall consensus was we are not playing that song.
Did we play it though?
No.
Oh, that's too bad, because after that I brought it back because the problem was John had left the band, and John's got this really high voice. And in the song, I sing low and John sang high. But then Sean could sing that part. So I brought it back. Listen, I'm going to go when we hang up. It's one of my favorite songs, that and Hockey on the Moon and Andy Moog meets Robert Moog. Those are my top 3 Zamboni songs ever. So I'll learn it. But we're learning so much. I had to relearn Hockey Party, which was a song I wrote for the Buffalo Sabres in 2002. So there's a lot of learning going on right now for this gig. But hopefully all of Montreal will cross over the border, bring us bagels, smoked meat, and come see us in Buffalo.
Well, straight up, I can pretty much guarantee that no one from Montreal is going to be there because it's about a 7-hour drive for them. But people from Toronto might be there, and I'm in Hamilton, so it's a 45-minute drive for me.
I always mix it up with you because you're a Canadian fan, right?
Yeah, and I'm from Montreal, so when you guys played Montreal, you stayed with my parents in Montreal,
right? And what high school jersey or what the Royals? What team is that?
The West Island Royals. That was my midget AA jersey growing up.
Well, I haven't washed it since I got it from you.
Amazing.
Did you wash it before I got it?
Unlikely. And that was from when I was 16. So
nice.
Yeah, that's
Well, it doesn't.
probably stinks, man.
It looks like it could still fit you. Did you gain any weight?
No,
Wow, that's impressive.
still lean.
Yeah. Don't drink the lean, but it's good to be lean.
I do my best, but
All right,
yes.
Steve. Well,
So
I like your Van Halen background a lot too. No one's seeing that.
no one's seeing that, but yeah, it's a Van Halen wall in my office here for
Gee,
everyone listening.
gee the floor in front of the Van Halen wall. Not bad.
How can people find the Zambonis online?
Oh yeah. The Zambonis.com. Oh, I have to tell you something really important. So the Zambonis.com is how you get in touch with us. We're on Facebook and Instagram and the other stuff we're on, but I don't really pay attention to it. But you know, we're it's not easy being an all hockey band, as I mentioned before. And yesterday, starting at 11 p.m. last night, we sold 123 CDs on our website, which is
Really?
astounding. And today we had to delete all those sales because it was hacked from the Philippines. So today, what we thought was 123 CD sales cost us about $300 in IT help, and it was a complete nightmare. So come out and support your local hockey band.
Absolutely. So if anyone is in the, greater Buffalo / Southern Ontario area, head out October 5th to see the Zambonis at the Pearl Street Grill. And you'll be seeing myself and my co-host for this show, Greg, at the show. We'll both be there.
Awesome. And if you're in the Philippines, hack a football band. Don't hack us.
Football bands can handle it. Hockey bands, the working man's band.
It's a working man's band. Well, we'll see you in Buffalo and support your local hockey band, whoever they are. And I really appreciate being on the show. This is great. And I love the hockey references and Propagandhi stuff. It like comes out of nowhere too. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's inspiring.
Awesome. So thank you so much for being on the show. And this has been Unscripted Moments. See ya.